There is a theory in the psychological community, and it may have been proven factual by now. I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not entirely sure. Either way, it doesn't matter for the purposes of this analogy. There is an old theory in the psychological community that whatever age someone is when they fall into the trap of substance abuse, that is the age where their growth and their development stops. For example, let's say that a 19-year-old college student begins using opioids in their freshman year. By the time they're a sophomore, use has transitioned to abuse. Perhaps they witnessed all the other transitioning in college and wanted to be like the cool identifiers. But once the kid's 20 years old, they have officially become a full-blown addict. Now, according to this theory in the psychological community, their mental development, it stops at that point. Fast forward 15 or so years later, this kid's now a grown man, a grown woman, physically. But mentally, they are still 20 years old. They have lost 15 years of mental development. They have lost 15 years of growth, 15 years that they will never get back. In my opinion, this same theory, it also pertains to people who suffer through a victim mentality. There are many people who have been cultivated and raised to be the ultimate victim. They grow up with the mainstream media telling them that they're victims. They grow up with the government, the public school system, treating them like they're victims. When you analyze their behavior, you can make a strong case that their growth and development stopped once the victim mentality set in. When you have the mentality of a victim, it creates a complete lack of accountability. And when you lack accountability, you lack the ability to grow. There is no other organization in the country where the victim mentality is more prevalent than the WNBA. And there is no other dump diver who consistently displays their victim mentality better than Liz Cambage, also known as the Incredible Liz, the Australian Lizzo. But KC, Liz Cambage doesn't work in the dump anymore. She returned her hard hat and retired from collecting trash. Yeah, that is true for now, but the mentality of Liz Cambage, it is the same mentality that is prevalent throughout the dump. Liz Cambage, she just doesn't mind vocalizing it. I will give her credit though for her honesty, because Liz Cambage is honestly delusional. Liz Cambage is the ultimate case of the bullshit outweighs the talent. 6'9", 222 pounds. Hell, Lizzo Cambage makes the original Lizzo appear to be the size of Danny DeVito. Liz Cambage is a talented pretend basketball player, there's no doubt about it, but her talent is overshadowed by all the unnecessary problems that she creates. Back in 2011, she was the second pick in the dump diver draft. The dump in Tulsa at the time, it was on the brink of going out of business. When they drafted Lizzo Cambage, they had high expectations. With her size, with her strength, they were expecting a 50% increase in trash processing and waste management. The problem was, Liz Cambage thought she was above collecting trash in Tulsa. It wasn't a large enough market for her. She created problems in Tulsa. She created problems in Australia. She created problems in Los Angeles. She created problems in Nigeria. Liz Cambage is kind of like the Fauci. She's the gift that keeps on giving. No matter how many times you're boosted, no matter how many times you think you've eradicated the fungus, Liz Cambage just keeps coming back for more. Yesterday, the Australian Lizzo was the guest on a Bleacher Report podcast hosted by someone named Taylor Rooks. Taylor Rooks appears to be a beautiful woman, but these days, as you guys know, the eye test is no longer reliable. With a gender-neutral name like Taylor, it's entirely possible that she uses her natural beauty to identify as the forbidden fruit in the woke garden of Stephen. Tay-Tay shifted the conversation to last year when Liz Cambage landed a job in Los Angeles, sweeping glitter off the floors of Hollywood sets for the LA Sparkles. Now, for those that don't remember, Lizzo resigned from her janitorial position with the Sparkles in the middle of the season. Just like all of her other jobs where the Lizzo tornado has left nothing but damage in its wake, Liz Cambage once again refused to take any accountability. It wasn't her fault that things didn't work out with the Sparkles. It wasn't her fault that she was once again a huge embarrassing failure. It wasn't her fault that she couldn't get along with her fellow dump divers. No! You got to remember, the reason Liz Cambage did not want to play in Tulsa is because she felt it was beneath her. It wasn't a large enough market for her. Los Angeles is one of the biggest media markets in the world. Liz Cambage, she also aspires to be a model. Okay. Other than New York City, maybe Miami, there is no better place to make it as a professional model than Los Angeles. Yet for some reason, Liz Cambage could not find a way to make it work. Again, this was through no fault of her own. There were plenty of other people to blame for Liz Cambage being a huge embarrassing failure. Just watch it for yourself.
Remember being on court and just like a few disrespectful teammates yelling at me because they don't know how to throw a lob pass to me in the post. I'm just like, I'm really dealing with like girls just yelling at me because they're frustrated without how they don't know how to throw the ball to me. Our coaching staff doesn't want to teach them like how to use a post player like me. I remember running down the court and a girl that was like really frustrated me in Vegas while I was there, like stepped in front of me and took a charge as I'm like running down. I was like, okay, this is just another straw on the camel's back. And then that was like another play, and this teammate of mine came up and was just like yelling at me again.
Are you starting to understand why I say people with a victim mentality lack growth and development? Liz Cambage is 31 years old. All of those excuses that she just laid out, I would expect to hear those excuses from my girlfriend's teenage daughter. My teammates can't pass. My coaches don't know how to use me. My teammates yell at me. It's so traumatic. I don't consider WNBA coaches to be elite. I'm not saying that as a knock against them, but if you're an elite basketball coach, you're going to be coaching in the NBA or a major college program. Elite coaches are not traveling to the dump to collect minimum wage, but I have a hard time believing that WNBA coaches cannot figure out how to use Liz Cambage. When you have giant Gwendolyn on your roster who towers over everyone else on the court, it ain't that hard to figure out. But once again, Liz Cambage blaming everyone else for the problems that she created. And like I said, this same victim mentality is prevalent throughout the WNBA. This mentality that I am oppressed, I'm overlooked, I'm victimized, I'm mistreated, I'm unfairly compensated. Just last week, we talked about Skylar Diggins-Smith. And look, Skylar Diggins-Smith is an amazing woman, one hell of a basketball player. She's got a beautiful family. She's actually a rarity in the WNBA. Instead of being impregnated through injection, she went through the more traditional route of insertion. Skylar Diggins-Smith, though, she was complaining because the Phoenix Mercury are pissed off that she is missing the entire season for maternity leave. They are paying her six figures not to work, not to produce. She's off enjoying being a mom, which that's great. That really is great. There's no other job in the world more important than that. But that does not change the fact that this team is paying you a lot of money not to work while they're one of the worst teams in the league and struggling to put asses on the bucket seats. Earlier this season, the dump in Phoenix, they were also leading the charge to get chartered flights, private airfare. In a league that is struggling to turn a profit, the employees are hastening their own demise by demanding private airfare. In a league that is struggling to turn a profit, the employees are hastening their own demise by demanding higher salaries. Even though Liz Cambage is no longer in the WNBA, the mentality is the same. It is this victim mentality that you're owed something. It's this mentality where there is a complete lack of accountability. The solution to chartered flights, higher salaries in the WNBA, the solution is rather simple. Generate more revenue, sell out games, draw higher ratings on television. But the dump divers, they don't want to be accountable for that. They want the luxuries handed to them without the sacrifice of the hard work. These women are living in a world of delusion. And speaking of delusion, Liz Cambage further proved how delusional she actually is. I swear to God. Some people think just because they say something, it makes it true. Just because they say something, the rest of us, we're expected to believe it, take it as fact. Yesterday, Liz Cambage claimed that she was joining the Nigerian National Team. I thought Liz Cambage was born in England. I thought she identified as Australian. I'm pretty sure both of those places could not be further away from Nigeria. So, how exactly would Liz Cambage qualify to represent a country that, to my knowledge, she's never lived in? Well, KC, she claims to have Nigerian heritage. Okay. Okay. Now, I'll admit, I don't know how these national teams work. Can people claim to have heritage and automatically qualify to play for them? If I claim to be Egyptian, will they let me represent Egypt? Another reason Liz Cambage is delusional here, there is absolutely no way the women from Nigeria are letting her join this team. This is the same group of women that Liz Cambage verbally abused. She used racial slurs against them. If I remember correctly, she offended them by calling Nigeria a third world country. Not only that, she got into a physical altercation with these women 2 years ago. Oddly enough, video footage of the incident, it was finally released right after Liz Cambage claimed that she was joining the Nigerian team. Strange. What a coincidence. I wonder how that happened. One of the players on the Nigerian team, she issued a statement after Liz Cambage pretended like she was joining the team. This young woman said, "It ain't happening." Liz Cambage also denied the use of racial slurs. She denied calling Nigeria a third world country. "I didn't say those things. I'm pro-black. Those words just happened to escape my facial orifice. That thing has a mind of its own." When she was pressed, when she was asked why she is denying all these allegations while everyone else that was there says it's true, Liz Cambage responded by saying, "Women just don't like me. They use me as a scapegoat." It all makes sense now. Once again, Liz Cambage is deflecting blame. Once again, she is refusing to accept personal responsibility for her own actions. This woman is 31 years old with the mentality of a teenager. Nothing's ever her fault. Liz Cambage never to blame. If she farts on the plane, she claims someone stepped on a frog. Once people smell her fragrance, she claims that the airline is poisoning them with toxic fumes. She airballs an uncontested alley-oop. She claims her teammate doesn't know how to throw the ball. It's never her fault. Her growth has been stunted by this victim mentality. And like I said, same mentality prevalent throughout the WNBA. Once you bite into the shit sandwich, once you accept that you're a victim and you believe it, your growth and development completely stops. You wake up every morning believing that you are actually oppressed. But give me your thoughts. Liz Cambage, once again, delusional, blaming everyone else for her problems. Is she lying when she says that she is joining the Nigerian National Team? I see no chance of that happening. Also, do you agree with this theory on victim mentalities that once you adopt a victim mentality, it prevents you from maturing? You let me know if I'm off base there. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.